One night in late April, while hanging out at a friend's house, I noticed a plastic container in the corner of the room. As I approached this container, I saw that there was a tortoise living inside. There wasn't any other sign that something was living inside this container other than a small, non-moving reptile who didn't have any source of heat or access to water. Shocked and confused, I asked my friend where this pet had come from. He explained that he had found it on a neighbor's lawn while mowing it. Sadly, the previous owners had let the tortoise go because they did not want it anymore and told my friend he could have it. Although my friend's heart was in the right place by taking this tortoise home with him, his knowledge of keeping it alive stopped there. To help this reptile, I suggested to my friends that we research information about tortoises. Soon, our night of hanging out quickly turned into caring for this poor, dying tortoise. As we researched, we found out that my friend was doing everything wrong when it came to taking care of this pet. He had kept it in a cold, dry climate all winter without any source of heat. He also fed it a strict diet of iceberg lettuce, which we learned was one of the worst things that someone could feed this type of reptile. Needless to say, this tortoise was physically in poor condition. He was very thin, he wasn't active, and his nose had a bad discharge, which made it hard for him to breathe. My heart went out to this poor, defenseless, dying creature. All night I was told I could take it home, but I wasn't sure if I could save it or even wanted a tortoise, let alone a sick one. By the end of the night, I could not leave this tortoise under my friend's care any longer, and became the owner of a very frail and sick tortoise. Once I got home, I did my best to create a more suitable cage for the tortoise out of an old aquarium, lamp, and any other materials I could find. I turned up the heat in my house and went to bed praying he would make it through the night. When I woke up the next morning, I found the tortoise in the same condition and place I had left him the night before. Over the next few days, he remained in this state of not eating and not being very active. I continued to offer him food, none of which he ate. I also began recruiting more prayers on his behalf and continued creating a more comfortable environment for him. Sadly, a few days became a week of him not eating and not changing his behavior. His infection also seemed to be getting worse. I decided I could not solely save this tortoise and took him to the vet. The vet, who identified this reptile as a Russian tortoise, told me it didn't look good. He confirmed that the tortoise had an upper respiratory infection and only a 50-50 chance of surviving. The vet explained that he could give the tortoise shots for $20 each every other day until it started eating. Thinking of the money involved and the odds of survival, I was reluctant, but at this point, I had become attached to the tortoise and could not stand by and watch it die. So I rushed home from school every other day and took the tortoise to the vet to get its shots. After about 5 rounds of shots, daily warm water soaks, persistent prayers, and offerings of food, he remained in the same condition. I began feeling discouraged but continued with the shots and prayers. Then, on a Sunday afternoon, slightly over 2 weeks after I had first claimed this tortoise, I witnessed a miracle. He began eating. I was so shocked, I was not sure if what I was seeing was really happening. Over the next month, I offered this tortoise more food than he had probably ever seen in his entire life. He slowly became healthier, his infection cleared, and his breathing normalized. Since then, he has also remained very active. As a reward for eating, I bought him a larger cage and gave him a name, Malin, which appropriately means little warrior. This was all 2 years ago. Every year on the day that I first met Malin, I give him a birthday party to celebrate his survival. I've never considered myself a reptile person and still don't. In fact, to some, Malin may be just an ordinary, not so pleasant to look at reptile. But to me, Malin is a constant reminder of the power of prayer and importance of perseverance. I don't know a lot about Malin's past, but at least now he has a future.